Hello and welcome to another episode of the Lawyers Learning Center with DHIA podcast. This season, we are celebrating insurance awareness by discussing prior acts coverage, gaps in coverage, policy benefits, and the cost of professional liability insurance. Join us here every Thursday morning as we continue to deliver insightful information on professional liability insurance, discuss business insurance solutions, and unpack the phases of running a business. The cost of professional liability insurance. Have you ever wondered about the cost of professional liability insurance? Many law firms leave themselves uncovered because it seems like an unnecessary add expense. You think your firm is too small to get sued. You have great relationships with your clients, so it will never happen to you. Or the complexity of it is just too overwhelming. But these reasons vaporize immediately when your business is actually on the line. The truth is, most firms that have been sued didn't predict it. It comes as a surprise. Only you can determine your unique comfort level for exposure. Answer these questions for yourself. Can your law firm sustain a prolonged legal battle? Can your licensure and certification survive a lawsuit? Are your personal assets firewalled against a judgment? Let's say that you have bought into the idea of professional liability insurance. We'd like to give you a better understanding of why it costs what it does and what affects the cost. Pieces of the pricing puzzle include your area of practice, the state where you are located, coverage limits and deductibles, claims history, how long you've been in practice, whether you've been covered all, some, or none of that time. The good news is that you can understand the cost drivers in about 3 minutes. Let's touch briefly on each. Area of practice, AOP. Your area of practice leads the list of factors influencing cost. High-risk AOPs can expect double the premiums of low-risk specialties. Why? Carriers have done the math to calculate their, quote, appetites, end quote. They prefer low-risk AOPs to higher-risk ones. In the world of professional liability insurance, some higher-risk practice areas are patent prosecution, securities, class action, international law. Practice areas considered lower risk include mediation arbitration, family law, immigration, insurance defense. Carriers offer better rates to those that fall within their specific appetites. A good agent knows these different carrier appetites and can match you with the one best suited to your needs. Location. Location can also affect your premium. Why? States like California and New York have a higher claims frequency than other states. Again, it's just math. Expect higher rates in states with higher claims. Limits. What limits do you need? Well, what would happen if your largest client sued you? Choose limits based on the specifics of your unique business. The lowest limits are typically $100,000, $300,000. This allows $100,000 per claim and up to $300,000 per policy period if you have more than one claim. But is that enough? How much would your legal defense cost? How about judgments awarded against you? You will want to select limits based on legal costs to defend your case and judgments. Both count against your total limit. Claims history. Never had a claim? This positions you for lower premiums. Expect higher premiums if your history shows prior claims. Frequent claims history could even leave you ineligible for coverage. Working with a good agent can help keep you in good standing with carriers. They will advise you to tell your insurance carrier as soon as you suspect a potential lawsuit. That puts the insurance carrier in a better position to address the issue faster and minimize the claim. The more advance notice, the better. How long have you been in practice? Cost is also determined by how long you've been in practice. Most would assume that a newer, less qualified attorney would pay more for his professional liability policy than a more advanced attorney with a perfect record. This is not the case. Newer attorneys will pay less initially because they have fewer prior acts for the insurance company to cover. The longer you've been in practice, the more cases you take on. So, each year you stay in practice, the more potential there is for a lawsuit. No coverage versus continuous coverage. Premiums are less for first-time buyers. Attorneys with continuous coverage typically pay more. This may seem counterintuitive until you understand coverage of your prior acts. Each year of coverage means you've got more prior acts requiring coverage. Most premiums will rise each year for the first 7 years, then level off. Wrapping up. You were probably hoping for a simple answer. We get it. But that's the challenge with professional liability insurance. With so many factors driving cost, it's not as simple as looking at a chart and giving you a number. We've created a checklist so that you can make sure you've covered your bases. Download this checklist by clicking the button below. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Lawyers Learning Center with DHIA podcast. If you found this information useful, please subscribe and share. We invite you to share your biggest takeaway in the comments and ask us a question or two. Your feedback will help us adapt and expand our topics for you, which is why we are here. We encourage you to listen to our first 2 seasons. Our Lawyers MBA series was created to cover the topics law school missed and is packed with actionable tips on running the business side of a law practice. Tune in next Thursday as we continue to deliver insightful information on professional liability insurance, discuss business insurance solutions, and unpack the phases of running a business.